Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. The safety net man. Yeah, now this is an interesting case right here. Let me give a shout out first to one of my commenters, Filthy Rich One, who suggested this topic because he wanted me to address the issue of when a woman wants a ring or a child with a man, and she'll find that guy she can settle with may not be the man she wants. That good bar type or that status man, but he's cool with her. And usually a cat in the friend zone or something, or sometimes it could be a cat that she had sex with in the past or something. But this is the safety net man. See, he's not the cleanup man. Let's get that straight. He's not the cleanup man. Because to understand the safety net man, the woman already knew him. It's probably somebody's like an ex-boyfriend or somebody they were in a relationship with. It didn't work out, but they still cool. Or it could be a friend with benefit or something. And of course, it can always be a friend zone type of guy. But it's not a cleanup man. It's not a cleanup man. See, a cleanup man, he deals with that woman who's just been dogged out. She hit the wall. She got about 3 kids or something. She's probably heavily in debt. And, the cleanup man comes in there and is basically playing that Captain Save-A-Ho. Nah, this ain't the cleanup man. See, to understand the cleanup, the safety net man, you got to understand the nature of the woman who's going to go for him. The woman who's going to go for the safety net man is that type of woman who's going to stay in shape. She might have 1 or 2 bad boys in her life, but for the most part, had decent type of guys. But for whatever reason, things didn't work out to the point where she could get married or have a child with them. And there's a whole bunch of them. I know a lot of men, they focus too much on that, those baby mamas, those single mothers, or those ratchet chicks. But the reality is there is a significant, let me say that again, a significant amount of women who, they don't have a bunch of babies. And they really haven't been dogged out that much by some bad boy or something like that. See, that's one fallacy that many men have. They act like bad boys are just tearing up. There ain't that many dudes on that level. So there's going to be a significant amount of women who, they might encounter one bad boy, but they're not going to go from bad boy to bad boy. That's really for those women who are very attractive, who can even have the ability to do that. Now, these women, these women are in that 7-8 range. But they had enough sense. You get a lot of 92 octanes who will go for the safety net man. A lot of 92 octanes, maybe some 89 octanes can make a run at it. I've been doing those videos on Insecure. They was like those sisters. None of them have any kids. They know what to do. They try and do something with their lives. But, like I said, they have trouble finding that person that they at least think they fall in love with. Because you get a lot of women, even the more intelligent women, many of them are still looking for that Prince Charming. Some women just smart enough not to get pregnant in the process and, to use some birth control. But they still out there. And then when you come to that thing called a wall, many women don't necessarily hit that wall. I know some women now in their 50s who they find it shit. They got bodies like 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. I mean, you looking at them like, damn, girl. A lot of them keep themselves in shape too. A lot of women do that, but they just don't have that man. But you know what? Here's the thing. They still want to get married. They still want to get married. They still want the child. The only difference is, at the very least, they're going to do so in a committed relationship. Maybe not even get married, because I know a few women, more than a few, a whole lot of women who've done that. They'll either marry a guy or they'll be in a committed relationship where they might as well be married, because depending on where you living, you stay with somebody long enough, you pretty much married. You file taxes together, you live together long enough, the state is like looking at you, yeah, y'all married. It's common law, and that's one thing, fellas out there, women too. Check the common law rules in your particular state. Make sure, if you trust me, there could be some issues. You stay with somebody just long enough. So definitely check that. But see, you get these women, they still want it, but they want it under a certain condition. They'll get that guy who they were cool with. Like, it could be an ex-boyfriend, or it could be some guy who's just in the picture. Like, okay, y'all know I got a story. I remember I went to this office party and stuff with this girlfriend I had, right? And it was interesting because I saw another one of her co-workers, right? And her co-workers was with this guy, but the guy was introduced as just her friend, right? And it's interesting because the other woman, she actually jived, she had a little bit of alcohol, started doing the bump with me, right? I was like, what the? Because she was jive flirting. So she was doing this in front of this other guy's thing. Because, well, he was just a friend. I say about 6 months later, these two are married. I'm just like, wow. But it was a situation. She had a lot of money. She wanted a kid. She wanted to be, she wanted that status. So she married the friend. Made him sign a prenup and all of that. But because, she had a lot of money. I'll just say it like this. Walking around her place, shoot. It took us like a half an hour to walk around her place. She had money, like legitimate money. It was like, oh, shit. I was like, damn, house so big, another family could live there and she wouldn't even notice. Anyway, right? But she wanted that status. She wanted the child. You get a lot of women like that. They'll get some guys. And sometimes, you know what? I did a video on women calling a guy back after many years. Sometimes they'll do that. They'll have that safety net guy. That one they're going to fall back on. Shoot, one woman tried to make me her safety net guy. She told me straight up. I got to respect her honesty. She told me straight up. This was a young girl at the time. She was just getting out of somebody's law school, right? And she was, how old was she? It'd be 24, 25, right? And she looked at me and she was just like, you know what, Ron? You on my short list of men to marry. I was like, short list? I'm like, okay, I guess. It was just like, wow. Yeah. Yeah, I might need to look her up. Anyway, right? Yeah, she just told me a lot of women have that, especially a lot of 92 octane types, professional types, because a lot of times it's definitely not about that Disney version of love and or fondness. A lot of times it's just to keep up appearances and everything. They want to do it right. It's almost a business arrangement sometimes. The safety net man, he's a guy they fall back on. It's like, that situation. Sometimes you get two people, like they really good friends, and some of y'all probably have it. Y'all two friends, and y'all keep messing with each other people and stuff, and then y'all look at each other. It's like, you know what? After a while, you know what? I think we should get married. And y'all might even say that too. I've heard people say that. Talk about a friend like that. It was like, if we don't have somebody in 5 years, we should just get married. Because they cool like that and everything. Only problem with those relationships, you can't really force it. And like it or not, and even though I've spoken against basing something just on a spark or just on lust, let me emphasize, just on it. I'm saying if you base it solely on like spark or lust, that's dumb. But you still got to have a percentage of lust and a percentage of a spark in there. And usually what happens when women deal with that safety net, man, everything is there but the spark. Yeah, they could probably make some sex happen and all of that, have kids, work together. But it's more of a business thing. But the problem is, as soon as someone who can spark their lust comes into the picture, and this is for the man or the woman, that's when you have problems. That's where you have problems. And, a man, I'm going to tell you what, and this is for the men, this is game for men. Don't be the safety net, man. Like, if you meet some woman, y'all cool, and you really feeling her, okay, that's different. There's a real sparkle, something grows, because there are some situations where you just cool with a woman, and y'all just friends, but then one night or something, y'all look at each other, all of a sudden, there's a different vibe. That's different. But don't be that, like she thinking about it, like, rationally or logic, and almost like you putting some numbers into some computer program and say, oh, you should get with this person. Don't be that man, because you're going to end up having problems later. Don't be the safety net man. Let her do her thing. You keep doing your thing. And just to be clear, finish this up, it's not the same as a cleanup man. Just get that straight. The safety net man, he's just like the last resort for a childless woman who's still in some decent shape, who hasn't really hit that wall yet. Usually, like, you'll see a lot of women looking for a safety net man when they're in their, they hit about 30 and their biological clock start ticking like crazy. That's really when they start thinking about, like, past boyfriends or even past dates or something. Like, I would say, from a cold-blooded player perspective, between ages of 30 and 35 is when a woman, if she's in shape, is going to probably be the most aggressive about a guy. It's like, that's why many men don't really become players until then, because they catching women at that right age. But, you're the safety net man. Now, you become the cleanup man when you got to clean up some mess. Because, in fact, women who looking for the safety net man, they usually don't have much mess. In fact, if there could be a spark between you, you'd probably make a good woman. Because think about it, she was sensible enough not to get bogged down by, like, some players or some baggage or major baggage. So she's not a bad person, really. But you got to understand why is she looking at you. And like I said, it's something you really don't want to deal with. Because it's not really a natural relationship. It's more or less, it really is a case of her just settling or just doing whatever, and it's like she's more doing it to please other people or to please society or something. In many cases, she's lying to herself. So anyway, the safety net man. Don't be that guy. Yeah, he's different from the cleanup man, but you don't want to be him either. All right, if you deal with a woman, she needs to be feeling you on all levels. So anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.